in the beginning, it was a little bit hard to get clients because I was too skinny. I didn't have a butt. You know, I had a little bit of a belly.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, they looked at me and said, oh, I don't want that body.
Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And everything about body, yada, 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 image.
So our guest today is a fitness and nutrition coach specialized in fat loss. She's also a badass who does a lot of cool shit. Please welcome Nikita. Kohli.
I feel awkward.
Hi, Nick.
Hey,
How are you?
great. How are you?
We're good. Are you still feeling
A
awkward?
little bit.
Just pretend the cameras are not here. Just look at us.
Ignore all the lights, the production. We're just girls.
So much. All right.
You should drink some of your water. It'll make you feel comfortable.
Yes, hydrate.
Today's episode is about setting realistic goals in a time of unrealistic body images. Basically, we're all scrolling TikTok a little too much now.
Are we? Are you scrolling TikTok?
I'm always scrolling TikTok. I live on TikTok.
Do you live on TikTok, Nick?
I don't use TikTok.
Oh, really?
Do you
don't
have an
TikTok?
account?
I do, but I don't use it.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
I tried, but it was just too many things for me to
It's
to
a
deal with.
black hole. I swear to
But
God.
why would you want to put yourself in a black hole?
Because sometimes you want to escape the harsh reality of life.
Read a book. Take a walk.
Sometimes you're lazy and you don't want to put in effort. You sort of scroll.
mindlessly?
Well, to be honest, I've been scrolling a lot since I've been back.
On Instagram?
Yeah.
Like a true millennial.
Yeah.
Do you have Facebook?
Yes.
Oh,
Do you use
But
it?
the only reason I use it is when I moved to Spain, it was important in order to go into these expat
Yeah.
groups and stuff to make friends.
Nick moved to Spain, for all of you that don't know.
Yeah.
And she does cool shit in Spain.
but she still coaches online, right?
Yes, I do.
You're
yeah,
not missing
tell
out.
us a little bit about what you do.
All right. So I'm an online coach. I do fitness and nutrition coaching. Most of my clients come to me for fat loss, but I also work with strength conditioning. I've got clients who are more sports specific, tennis, kickboxing, things like that. So every plan is customized to whatever the goal is.
And I'm one of her clients.
Yes, you are.
I've been a client for how many years now?
Whew.
4? It's
20
almost...
after COVID, right?
Yeah, it was 2020.
2020.
Started working with you, yeah.
So why we wanted to talk about this topic today is because obviously, like I jokingly said, we do kind of end up mindlessly scrolling a lot.
Yeah.
Why did I struggle to say mindlessly? But in reality, I think that the mindlessness of it does have an impact. I know for myself, I feel like social media has more of a negative impact on my self-image than anything else.
Yeah.
Like if I walk around, I'm fine. But if I look on the internet a little too much, I start feeling inadequate. So I feel like we really want to talk about, fitness with someone who's specialized in fitness and someone that can talk about what is a realistic goal to have rather than just wanting like abs and a flat stomach and a thigh gap,
Yeah.
but also a big butt.
Right? People want too many things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? We asked, we do this thing every Friday. Let's get spicy. We asked people last week, was it?
Yeah.
What was the question? It was, does social media, or what kind of impact does social media have on your body image? And I was surprised that a lot of people said it was positive or it didn't have an impact at all. I thought most people were like us.
Yeah, but I will say
No.
the majority
How?
said
What do you
that
mean how? You don't think people are negatively impacted?
I think people are, and that's why I'm surprised you got so many
Yeah.
answers saying.
What
I mean,
was
I've
the
seen
percentage?
some girls who are so fit, like legit, they're like dream body goals to some people, and they're still looking at social media and going, oh, but I wish I had this curve or this curve, and it's like,
Well, I think the thing is people maybe don't realize because like I
Yeah.
said, it's mindless. So even if
Yeah.
you're not thinking about it, maybe in the back of your mind, you're kind of judging yourself. And it's not
Possibly.
you're judging yourself like when you're on the internet. It's then when you go out, when you buy
Yeah.
an item, when you look at yourself in the mirror, are you subconsciously comparing yourself to something that you want rather than enjoying what you have?
Yeah.
So
and maybe the way that we worded it, like people were like, oh, negatively, that's bad. So maybe we should have worded it better.
Maybe. But
Yeah.
so 18% said positively, 42% said negatively, and then 40% said it doesn't affect them.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe the 40%
No,
either.
I'm not going to shame people. But
I don't
like,
believe it. I mean, because for me, I've moved away from those body goals and things like that. But once in a while, I will still see somebody and be like, okay, that's the next target.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's
although it's
human.
not realistic for me, and I know I'm not going to actually push myself to get to that point, I still think about it. you
Yeah.
know? So I think everybody's impacted to some extent.
I
Negatively.
think especially, yeah, with social media, especially, like, I'm pretty sure every single girl has scrolled and looked at a body and it's like, oh, I wish I had that body or something. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Or like during COVID, so you guys were working together, but during COVID, I was doing these like classes online. Like the personal trainer that I would go to at the gym that I would go to was doing online classes. And I remember like he would be like, okay, everyone open your cameras. And I remember never opening my camera because the second I would see everyone else, I'd be like, oh, it's not just they're more fit than me in the sense that they maybe have something that I want, but it's that they're even more fit doing it, you know? And I feel like that's...
Meanwhile, you're struggling.
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want them to see me struggle doing
It's
this
intimidating.
jump squat.
But
Like,
you start at some point. I mean, like for me, I was never somebody who did CrossFit, for example, or these crazy CrossFit workouts that they do. You know, they're so high intensity. And when I started working at a gym here, we would do these group CrossFit workouts on the weekend, and I would never go because it was all the other coaches. Because I was like, I know I'm not that fit, and I felt like I needed to be that fit because I'm a coach. But that's not true. Like I do other stuff. You know, I'm good at other things. And so when we all have that kind of feeling of I should be able to do this or I should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like now I don't do anything high intensity. And, you know, they say, come join a class. And I'm like, I don't want to. Like, it's not because I'm going to be embarrassed, but it's just not what I want to do anymore. And yeah, I will die and I don't want to die, but I don't care about how it makes me look.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think as coaches as well, you get a lot of flack for your bodies. Like, I feel like coaches are put under a microscope because a lot of people are like, oh, how is she a coach with that body? Because they expect coaches to have a specific type of body.
abs, a thigh gap, wide hips, a big butt.
Is that...
I don't have a big butt. I don't have wide hips at all. I don't have abs. They come and go, you know, once every couple of months. It's like, woohoo,
She
look,
had
I'm
abs
here.
before
then,
eating Indian food the other day.
I had the other
She couldn't
day,
stop
right?
talking about them.
Yeah.
Look, I
While
have
we were
abs.
eating, she's like, my abs are gone.
My ass are going, exactly.
No, but it's true though, because when I look at even on Instagram, so I don't know if you guys remember on YouTube, I don't know if you guys remember there was a time where there was these like really famous YouTube fitness coaches. They all had the same body and they would all sort of do the same
Is
workout.
that Beachbody stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shut that.
Yeah.
down.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Beachbody is no longer
No,
there?
I don't think so. I mean, because I saw a lot of videos of coaches from there saying like, "Oh, my journey is over."
Wasn't Insanity part of the Beachbody and P90X, I think?
Yeah, all of that.
P90X.
Like DVDs, and, you know, at that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think who we have left is like I think Daisy Keach,
What's
which
that?
is that's like the graduation of Beachbody. They're Instagram influencers that just genetically look amazing, and they're in their 20s.
Yeah. I mean, this is another thing, right? On Instagram and social media, the problem is that there's fitness influencers and there's fitness coaches, and
Yeah.
I think the general public tends to confuse the two.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I see a lot of fitness influencers who are just influencers. They have no credits, nothing. And then they just start selling these online programs just because they were born
With good genes.
with good genes. I mean, to an extent, of course, they put work into it as well, you know. But still, there's a difference. And you can't be going and doing programs off, fitness influencers and not going with a coach because the coach doesn't look the way you want them to.
Yeah.
When the coach is probably going to help you more because they have the credentials and they will be able to help you get to your goals. Whereas
And the coaches, the reason the fitness influencers looks the way that they do as
Exactly.
well. Of course, there's a lot of fitness influencers who came under fire for having plastic surgery and then not discussing it. That's a whole other conversation.
I mean, I had plastic surgery on my nose. Just saying.
Yeah, but I'm talking,
we're talking
more
about, like,
butt
lipo, BBL.
Yeah.
yeah.
BBL and selling a booty.
Selling a booty bag.
So Tarek said BBL and selling a booty guide, just in case the mic didn't pick it up.
But to be honest, like,
Wait, Tarek, have you ever used a booty guide?
is that the new program you're on?
No.
Okay.
No.
Not convincing, no, but okay.
He said, no.
I had the Kayla It's Science PDF. guide.
Oh, everyone
Used
had that.
I did as well when I
did.
first started training and I was not a coach yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say she wasn't as problematic, I feel like.
No.
Yeah.
But then, like, for me, it was just like she was too much HIIT, and I was like out of
You're
it.
so HIIT focused. What a disaster that was for me.
I think all of us thought that HIIT was the answer to all
But it
our
was
prayers.
when we were at that age. It was.
It was never for me. I mean,
never
I
for
did
you.
HIIT a lot.
Yeah, never for you.
My like most of my workout like experience or whatever, like I would always go for like these like programs, like for example Insanity. I remember I did Insanity like twice. I completed it, and they always like try to sell you these like extreme results,
Yeah.
and then I don't get the results and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But then like I'd also like I did a lot of high intensity like HIIT workouts, and then I'm like, I'm not like, I would shed weight initially, but then I would just be like plateaued. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing also, because I don't know about you guys, but there was definitely a time in my life where if I had like an event coming up, like if I had like a party or a prom or any big event in my life, I would literally Google like how to drop like 5 kilograms
Yeah.
in a month, and that's like so
You
unhealthy.
and everyone else.
Yeah, no,
Fruit diet, raw
Water-
food diet,
water fasting
was
juice,
crazy.
Cabbage,
detox.
celery.
Oh my god.
Guys,
There's all these things, but I mean, to be fair, social media is at a different level now where we can use it to actually educate ourselves properly.
Yeah.
And now, there are people being educated in these things. And back then, I think that there was not enough information for us to actually follow,
And back then, I think we also had less control. Like there was less parental controls regarding eating disorders. So we've spoken about this before. Tumblr. I was a huge Tumblrina. Tumblr had so many pro eating disorder.
I can't get over. I'm sorry. I just like, are we gonna pretend that she didn't say that? Okay, Tumblrina.
We gave each other a look in that moment.
Yeah, both of you are like, what the fuck is that?
All right, Tumblrina, tell us more.
Listen, I'm still on Tumblr.
Have you ever used Tumblr?
Yeah, I used to actually have a public account. I used to post my nail art.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah,
Tumblrina
this is why
behavior.
we're friends.
did you have MySpace?
Of course I
Okay.
did.
And
I'm ancient.
And
High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foursquare.
Unfortunately,
Foursquare.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Are you Gen Z?
no.
She's zillennial.
No. So I missed out on some stuff, but I was here
She
for
was
some
a
stuff.
Tumblrina. Tell us
Okay.
more about your Tumblrina
Anyways,
days.
back in the Tumblrina days, there's a lot of pages that were promoting eating disorders, and they would literally like there was today if you searched, I think a word that would trigger Tumblr,
Butterfly Anna.
basically, yeah, like a bot's gonna come out and they're gonna talk to you. They're gonna make sure you know that hey, like this is not cool. Back then, it was Anna Tumblr, it was Mia Tumblr, like it was crazy out there. Like the streets of the internet were filled with tips and tricks on how to shed weight.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's Butterfly Anna?
It's eating disorder. It's anorexia.
Oh.
What a
Trigger
time.
warning.
And if you're like under the age of, I don't know, I would say if you're under the age of 20, you're actually a lot more isolated in that mentality. Like
Yeah.
you're on the internet on your own. You don't know
what
what
It
you're
was
doing.
interesting though, because there was not that much social media back then, and these young girls had the problem.
Because it's a
you know
community.
what's, what was interesting? In my school, I remember. I think it was like in 5th grade or 6th grade. They actually gave us like these eating disorder like awareness classes. Yeah, and I remember they were talking to us about like anorexia and bulimia.
Where were these in France?
this was in school here. I forgot
never
which
had it
school
in
it was.
school
I think it was in ESG.
Well, how
or-
old would you have been?
I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that we had someone come and talk to us about eating disorders and like all the like the side effects and why they're bad and all of that stuff. But
That's good.
yeah. So I don't know, maybe my experience was different, but I think that was great. Like that was a great initiative by our school, I think, to actually
Yeah, because
speak about that.
I've never heard of that, and I think that would be amazing. I think Aslan, people should be educated on food. Like you can't just put kids in PE and not actually discuss the impact of food on their bodies and how
Yeah.
food is fuel. But then that's a whole other conversation.
But then again, nowadays with so much social media and everything, everybody's talking about, women needing to get muscles and women should, enjoy their food and things like that. So I think that's quite a positive impact with the whole eating disorder part of it. Whereas before it was how skinny can you be?
Yeah.
So
But I think we still have a distorted image of what a fit body is. Like it's still like, yeah, we aren't talking about, yeah, you need to, put more muscle in your body and enjoy your food and but like we still think of like a fit body to be like a specific way or look a certain way.
Yeah. I mean, I say this to you all the time. I'm like, you are the fittest person I know. And
I'm not.
yeah, no,
I'm really not.
I said, no.
I know. You said I know.
I said, I know.
knows.
Not Nick knows. I know.
I'm not even the fittest person I know. So
No, but you're
fit.
very, Zainab.
no, you work hard.
Yeah,
You work
put in the
out.
work, and you always have.
You don't skip.
Yeah.
And when you do, like, you make up for the next day, like, you put in hours at the gym. Bench presses how much now? Tell us how much you bench press.
Actually, today I did 100 pounds. Yeah.
We're
No,
gonna put
you
sound
really put
effects
in
for
the work.
clapping.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I struggled with is that like a lot of people make assumptions about my body that I'm not fit or like, you know, especially recently because we're more public and some of the content that I do reached a wider audience. And I do get a lot of comments about my weight, you know, like even the the hate comment that we got when I responded to her and then she didn't know what to say, like immediately she went for the jugular and she started calling me like fat and you know all kinds of
The
names.
internet's a horrible place.
It's a horrible place.
One day you'll be fat, one day you'll be too skinny,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then when you get a little muscular, now you look like a man.
Yeah.
Nobody's happy, and all these people who are posting this shit are just idiots sitting behind the screen. You know,
Literally.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's so much easier to judge someone that is putting themselves out there. But the reality is that putting yourself out there is the hardest thing we've done.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at the profile of people who put comments like that?
Yeah.
It's like, bro,
They all look fake.
it's not only that they look fake. Some of them who are actually real, just like they look like they haven't even been to the gym.
Yeah.
Maybe they have. We can't judge on these things. So
Yeah.
it's just.
My favorite is when they put the Quran quote. You know, it's that preaching to be kind or like Bismillah first or whatever.
In
I'm
their
like,
bio, but then they're leaving hate comments. It's always those people. It's literally like,
have you read the holy book?
have you?
Do you know what we stand for?
No, but for me, it wasn't just like social media. Like I told you, like it triggered memories of when I was like growing up because I grew up with a lot of females. Like I have 5 aunts and a lot of like female cousins. So being diagnosed with PCOS at 14 and then like my body immediately changing, I was bullied by my cousins, by my aunts, constantly talking about my weight, giving me unsolicited advice on how to lose weight. And it really like created a very unhealthy relationship with me and food, you know what I mean? And my body as well, because I always felt like I was just like less than these other girls, you know, I wasn't as attractive as the other girls, or like, I don't know. I feel like I missed out on a lot of, girly things that we do in our teenage years because of that, because I just wanted to hide away, because I was constantly like under a microscope. Like I was always the topic of discussion. Like my weight was always a topic of discussion. So it was hard.
Bearing in mind that you also grew up in a time, like you were a teenager in a very sensitive time in
heroin
pop
chic
culture.
was
Yeah.
a thing,
Heroin,
yeah.
like the idols of the era were Paris Hilton, were like Lindsay when she was at her skinniest. So it's like, these are white Eurocentric bodies that are not even properly fed. So it's like, you're not gonna look like that. That's not the morphology of our bodies.
We had The Biggest Loser. Remember The Biggest
Oh
Loser?
my God.
Yeah,
But
I mean, this stuff is toxic. Like they would never allow something like that today, but that's what there was back then. And then again, with not having enough information, you had PCOS. You didn't know you shouldn't be doing high intensity things, right?
Yeah.
It's just lack of information. It's not a big deal. You're doing great nowadays, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though like recently I was telling Mia, sometimes I do get demotivated. I'm in that phase now. He's okay. But, sometimes it does get frustrating because like I work hard. I watch my food like most of the time. I literally like, try to be active and you see me like I'm never like sitting down, and my weight loss is just very slow. And I have to constantly remind myself that like I'm not doing this mainly to lose weight. I'm doing this because I want to be healthy and I want to have a strong body. But like it gets to you, especially when people comment. Like I've had people comment like, oh, you work out all the time and you haven't lost weight.
But what is this weight? Let's talk about weight.
Yeah,
Let's talk
actually.
about weight. So everyone is always chasing this number on the scale, but
Yeah.
what is your body weight made up of? You guys know?
Muscle and bones.
Water,
Oh yeah, water.
food,
Matcha.
skin, hair, nails, everything.
Yeah.
So how is that going to determine anything?
No, but that's the thing is like So in Europe, I think we still very much go by the BMI culture.
Which is also bullshit,
Yeah.
actually, because
BMI doesn't make sense.
Because if you have a high muscle mass, you're gonna
Yeah.
show that you're obese.
Yeah.
It's gonna show that you're obese, and that's not true. So, for me, I always tell my clients, take pictures of yourself, see how your clothes fit, and do measurements, because your weight may not move for a while, or it may go down very slow and go up. But if you are building muscle and you are losing fat, you're gonna see the difference.
Yeah.
Don't let the scale like determine
Fool
that.
you.
It's not okay.
It's literally what I've been going
Yeah.
through. Like last week, I called me and I was like, I'm so upset. Like I was so down because everybody was telling me like you look smaller. I when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm happy, you know, because like I
clothes fit
noticed how
different.
my body
First of all,
is.
why don't you take the check-in calls to cry about these things with me?
I should. I know I should.
Instead, we cry on the
she's
phone about it
scolding me.
together.
Yeah, I just, you know what? I should do that because I'm like, I don't know if I should be doing that with you. you know, yeah. Okay.
She's a paid professional.
Yeah,
You pay me for that
I
once
pay
a
her
week
so I
call.
can call her and cry about
You don't
my
pay me.
But yeah, I was telling her like I gained like a couple of kilograms, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense because I'm like, I look in the mirror, my clothes are fitting better, my body is more sculpted, I look like I've lost weight, I look like I've shrunk, and then I just became so fixated on that number to the point where my self-image became distorted. I started seeing myself the way I was before, even though like before I lost weight, I didn't have this problem, which is weird. I feel like the more fit you get, the more
Obsessed.
fixated and obsessed you get.
Yeah, honestly, I think weighing scales are absolutely useless, and you should all throw them out because they do trigger things, and it's normal for everyone. I mean, it triggered me last week. I gained 2.5 kilos, and I was like, oh no, but I've been training so much in comparison to, you know, my recovery with my nose and everything. I didn't train, and since I've been here, I've been eating, but I'm training a lot, and I know I'm not eating as much. And I was like, I gained 2 kilos. And then I've been taking pictures of myself, and I'm like, wow, okay, I know what those 2 kilos are. I just popped my muscle up.
Yeah.
I lost fat. You know, so it does trigger me sometimes. In Spain, I don't keep a weighing scale at home at all. I don't have one.
Yeah.
Anybody, you know, for the bags, I use the thing that you
Yeah.
have to grab. Yeah, I just think it's a trigger whether you actually think, you know, I get some people saying, I don't care about the weighing scale. But then when it's time for a check-in, they check and then they go into full panic mode.
Yeah.
So I tell girls like that, no need to put your weight in. Just do your pictures.
Yeah,
Where
I mean-
where does this stem from?
I don't
From
know.
back then when that it was
And-
all
and
about
we're
being
still,
skinny.
like,
and
No,
it's
but
still-
it's the number. It's because
Yeah.
back then, I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember, but at least from what I recall, I remember there was like these like images of celebrities, and this was very much in the UK at least because I didn't grow up in the US. So they would have magazines showing the height of an actress and her weight, and it'd be like, oh, 2 stone this, no, like, and that was crazy. But I remember like girls
Yeah, I
being
remember
like,
those.
I never want to weigh more than this amount. And so there's I think a spot in my brain at least where there's this weight that I never want to reach because subconsciously as a kid I absorbed it as like, oh my god, if I weigh that, that's not wanted. Like no one wants to
Yeah.
weigh more than even my hairdresser. We were talking once and she was talking about her weight, and my hairdresser is like such a tall, slender woman. She was like, oh, I gained a bit of weight and I don't want to get to that point. And I looked at her and I was like, this woman looks phenomenal. Like, what is she talking
That's the
about?
thing. Don't get on that scale. Just don't throw it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, like I have one client and she is so fixated, and I'm really trying to work with her to change her mindset and things like that with this whole thing. And you know, she'll send me her weight, and then like she weighs herself every 2 days, even though I've told her not to do that. And she was like suddenly up 2 kilos, and I'm like, do you think you've gained 2 kilos of fat in 2 days? You know, have you been consuming like over 3,000 calories in order to gain 2 kilos of fat? No. All right. Did you sleep? Not so well. Have you been to the bathroom? No, I haven't. Oh, I'm getting my period in 4 days. You know,
Yeah.
your weight is not necessarily fat.
Yeah. Yeah, but in saying that, I think at my worst, like, because I think we've all had a phase where we're really bad. At my worst, I would literally weigh myself like 3 times a day, 4 times a day if I was like able to, because I was so curious. It was almost like a control thing. It's like
Yeah.
I'll weigh myself before breakfast to see what I weigh. And then after breakfast, like I'll weigh myself to see how much do I weigh after breakfast.
But did it give you an understanding of every time you feed yourself, you're going to
Yeah,
gain weight?
it did, but also it gave me an obsession because why? I'd be like, oh, if at night I weigh this much, then the next day I'll weigh less. And it became a thing of like, I'm gonna weigh myself in the morning and at night to understand how much. And I realized, oh my God, no, I can't control my body like that.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I was like very like OCD about that.
I mean,
Now
I think
don't.
this is a form of self-harm, to be honest.
It is.
You know,
I
you're
agree.
really, it's like you're mentally traumatizing yourself. You know?
But it's also a form of OCD, I'm pretty sure. Like it's a way to just sort of like control.
I don't think it's OCD as much as it is like related to
Self-harm.
Self-harm.
Yeah.
Self-harm, yeah. I think it's
Just
more
another day of
self-harm.
suffering
Yeah.
for hot girls.
I mean, also like when I also did this thing once where I would, you know, when I do jiu-jitsu in Spain in the summer, it's really hot. We don't have aircon, right? And
Yeah.
we're in the kimonos, so we sweat like crazy. So I started doing this thing where I get into the gym, I check my weight, I train like an hour and a half, and then check my weight again. Most of the time, I'm down a kilo.
It's water.
Because you
Water.
sweat, yeah. But I also want to talk about like the correlation between like your weight and your value or your attractiveness level to men. Because obviously, like I think a lot of the motivation behind losing weight is because like I want to be skinny because men love, you know, skinny girls or
Love yourself.
or people. Exactly.
No, but it's
You're
actually
doing it for
women.
anyone
But
else.
that's the
women.
thing. It's not true. You know what I mean? Like men have preferences. Some guys like skinny girls. Some guys like curvy
A
girls.
man
some
could
guys
have the hottest woman on the planet, and he would still look at another woman.
facts.
Muscle mommy.
Muscle mommy.
Thought Say it louder for the people in the back, Thought. No, but so I think who is it that does the videos of the ranking? I think I know Koreans
Koreans ranking videos.
Yeah, but they're really interesting. So I know Koreans
are
started it,
very.
but Jubilee took it, and because Korean standards are crazy.
Their standards are insane.
Like Allah ain't home. But Jubilee started doing it, but they started doing it to see and show people the male gaze and the female gaze. So they put they do it to men and women. They'd be like, okay, girl, like 5 girls. Girls, rank yourselves from hottest to least hot in your own opinions, and the girls will move themselves in a specific way. And when the guys come, they always like change the order of the hotness, and you start to see that the girls value weight as an attractive level much more than men do. Of course, not all men, but I do think like it's interesting. Like we have this conversation all the time. If one of us gets insecure because of our bodies or whatever, it's like it's always related to weight. Like I'm never sitting there being like, no one's gonna love me because I'm having a bad hair day or because I have a spot. It's always because like, oh, I feel bloated, I feel ugly. It's very interesting.
I've said that many times myself too. But I mean, if you're talking about attractiveness, doesn't everybody have a type?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We all do.
Like
Yeah,
some
but-
like skinny, some like thick.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a
But
difference.
then when you grow up being told like I know it was probably coming from a place of it's definitely coming from a place of love, but there was a lack of information and knowledge, and it came from a lot of ignorance. Like I was told to think about getting gastric bypass so I could get married. Like that was the exact like sentence. Like why don't you get gastric bypass so you can get married? You know what I mean?
That's so messed up.
You should have played
That is so
Christina
messed up.
Aguilera beautiful. You should have started being
I'm
like
beautiful.
no matter what they say, words
so messed
can't bring
up.
you down.
It's so messed up.
I mean, it's like when women like go lose weight for their wedding day. You
Yeah.
know? And then you
Yet
lose
everyone
weight.
does it. Yet every single listen, this summer
It's a great market. It's a great market. You know.
this summer is the summer of everyone I know's wedding. So this summer, all I'm getting is like I'm doing this workout.
you should do
and
a
I'm doing
bridal
this.
diet package.
Yes, I can send you some clients.
You know what? Somebody had mentioned this to me a couple of years ago, but I chose not to do it because you work with me. It goes against everything.
She has
that I
ethics
do.
and morals and integrity.
You will never see me posting about summer body in 12 weeks or none of that. Because for me, whatever I teach my clients, I teach them. I don't just train them. I want them to be able to live a healthy life for the long term and get slow, sustainable results. So it's not going to happen in 3 months. And I prefer that because if they get really quick results in 3 months, then I'm like, all right, you know what? Once they stop with me, give it another 3 months, you're going to go straight back to zero. So back in the day, when I first started, training, we were not focusing on nutrition or anything, but we knew cut calories, cut calories. So if anybody had this goal within 3 months, you can make it happen. But then they would like contact me after like 2 years and, they're back to square one. So I didn't teach them anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I wanted to start changing the way that I work. And I remember somebody telling me, why do you give everyone everything they need to know? Like, don't you want your clients to repeat? And I'm like, I mean, if they come back to me with the same problem, I haven't done my job.
Yeah.
If anybody stays with me long, like you're staying with me long, I've given you all the information
Yeah.
already. You stay with me because you want the accountability, you want the training and things like that. But I know I've educated you. And this is why I don't do these quick bridal things or summer things, because it doesn't make sense for the long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like,
And it's not healthy to do it that way.
yeah, even though like you said, like you gave me the information, but like I don't want to sit there and think about like, what am I going to do at the gym? Like it's easier for me to have the program, I see it and I go, and like you said, like accountability. And that's one thing that I definitely learned with, working with you is being consistent, because before it would always be like, I would, be like, it's either like 200% or 0%. Like if I'm getting back into the gym, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and I'm going to do HIIT at 6 a.m. every day. And I'm going to cut this and I'm going to cut that. And then, a month later, I'm just like, I've lost the will to live.
Yeah, but this is another problem, this all or nothing attitude that people
Yeah.
have. Like, this is one reason you're actually not getting your goals. Like, a lot of people don't, because they're like, I need to do all these things and all these things consistently in order to achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
None of us
Yeah.
can do it. Even I can't do that. And I don't do that. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like now, the way I'm training is a bit too much, but that's because I've got a competition coming. And that's why I'm putting myself in the situation where I'm trying to do everything at once. But a regular person, if you're not, training for anything specific, you shouldn't. You should know what you need to do, and you need to slowly implement one habit at a time.
Exactly.
But it's
Yeah.
like when people diet hardcore, like crash diet for a week, and then they weigh themselves a week later, and like, oh my God, I haven't lost any weight. It's like, yeah, it's just been a week. Like, wait. Also, don't do that to your body anyways.
I mean, you lose like 2 or 3 kilos of water within the first 2 weeks, and you're like, woohoo! And it's like, yeah, because you haven't moved at all. It's just
Yeah.
water weight. You haven't
Yeah.
lost fat.
It's crazy. When I was in high school, I used to do these like I was a big fan of fad diets because of
Me too.
I mean honestly, because of the culture, and obviously because of my PCOS and the comments that I used to get. So I was always looking for like the next diet.
Did you have the Dukan diet? Did that pop?
What is
Yeah, it is. Dukan.
Dukan? I don't know how you, is it Dukan?
Dukan.
Do you
Dukan
have-
What
diet.
is that?
I think that was like the biggest diet of my childhood. That's what I remember everyone doing.
No, I remember seeing like books on it. Like,
Yeah.
in the
I don't
grocery
know.
stores.
We had Atkins. I did that.
Atkins, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was a time where I tried the raw food diet.
I did the carnivore diet, and it was horrible. So
Isn't
get
that like
this.
keto?
No, so it's
I did
just
keto
meat.
too.
Okay,
That's
so
like Dukan a little bit.
it's literally nothing else. Meat, salt, and water. That's it.
Oh,
all
God.
Disgusting.
And basically, my issue was my bloating. So I was at a point of my life obsessed with trying to get abs, right? So I no longer chase them, and then somehow I just get them, which is great. But I had this thing back in the day where I just wanted them. So I went on this carnivorous diet, which included just steak, liver, and salt and water. I couldn't have anything else.
For how long?
So it was supposed to be for 4 weeks, and it was meant to get my bloating, inflammation down, and everything. And obviously, it was horrible. You can't live like that.
No.
Right?
It affects you mentally, I'm sure.
You know
as
what I
well.
did? So nobody asked me to do this, right? It's not like I was fine. I was training regularly. Everything was fine. I wanted to do this. And I would find myself in my bathroom with a Kit Kat. I'm hiding from who? Who am I hiding from?
Your demons.
I have chosen to do this myself. And everyone at home is like, what the hell are you doing anyway? And I'm hiding and eating Kit Kat in the bathroom. So these diets and all this stuff is just bullshit. They mess
Yeah.
you up.
Because they
really
make you
do.
obsessed with food. I think that's the thing. I think true freedom from all of that is not having to overthink your food. It's not having to count your calories. It's not having the stress of like, what am I eat for my next meal? It's not thinking about it. It's eating Jesus Christ, I can't speak.
Intuitively.
Intuitively.
I can say yes to an extent depending on what your goal is.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that people can actually eat intuitively without knowing what's in the food first.
Yeah, of
So
course.
if you have never done calorie tracking or macro like calories, okay, but macro more
Macros,
importantly.
yeah.
If you've never actually done it yourself, you're not going to be able to intuitively eat because you don't really know, you know? Like I had a client once and she kept saying, Nick, I'm just not losing weight. And it was her brother's wedding. So she trains not for the body, right? She looks fantastic. She's been training with me since 2016. So she looks fantastic. So she's over that phase of, you know, she's in her early 40s. She's over the phase of, I want this, I want that. But her brother was getting married and she wanted, you know, she did want to get into a dress. And I said, all right, we can do this temporary thing and then we'll get back to normal. So I tend to do that with some people, temporary. And I told her, all right, let's first see how much you're eating. She's like, I don't really eat much at all. And I was like, how do you know? She's like, yeah, I barely eat anything. And I was like, all right, do me a favor. 2 days. This is your calorie count. You know, just put everything into MyFitnessPal and let's see what's happening there. Because she eats small quantities, which I know. She messages me the first day at like 2 p.m. and she goes, oh my God, I finished all the calories already. And I'm like, what did you eat? So she eats a breakfast and then she eats this little snack, half a protein ball, this, that. And it just adds up because these things are high in fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, before you know it, you hit 1500 and it's
But
2
you're
p.m.
still
and you're
hungry
like, what?
because you're not eating you're not eating food. So you cannot say I can intuitively eat if you don't know what's in your food. There is other ways to do it because obviously sometimes counting calories and counting your macros can trigger eating disorders.
Yeah.
Right? And I do have some clients who used to have eating disorders, that I work with now. So we completely stay away from that. Although if you do count, obviously the results will be faster, but we don't want to trigger anything.
But also
So-
they intuitively know because they've calorie counted in the past. They remember the calorie
is true.
count,
That
which
is
is
true.
another level of
Yeah.
fucked upness.
No, but
No,
but you,
that is
you
true.
can
But
still.
we've managed to make it work. But I think what I do with them is I try to make sure that I'm giving them high protein diets. So
Keeps them full.
Have 25 to 30 grams of protein
Yeah.
per meal. That is the goal. Starting from the morning till the night. Automatically, they're already going to eat less.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yep.
it's a slower process to their goals, but it's better than, you know, having to count every single thing
Yeah.
and triggering something.
Yeah. I mean, at least for me, like, I think recently is where I started developing better eating habits and a better relationship with food because, like, I would do this thing where I would not eat. And then I remember I would tell you, I'm like, I'm literally just having a meal or two a day and then I'm snacking.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you know,
That's your problem.
that's a problem. So now I'm trying to focus on having high protein. Obviously with PCOS, like it's the best thing to control
Your
blood sugar
glucose
levels.
level. Yeah.
And so like now I notice like I'm more mindful because I'm like, okay, you know, if I snack, I think that because I'm eating small portions that I'm not going to be, you know, like reaching or like exceeding the calories. But like in reality, we don't, like you're sitting there mindlessly, like eating and watching TV. And then next thing you know, you probably had like 1,000 calories in one sitting. So now I try to fill myself with like good foods and meals so that like throughout the day, like I don't get these cravings and stuff. So it was literally like step by step where I was like, okay, now I'm going to just focus on maintaining like, or being consistent with my workouts. And then I'll tackle my relationship with food. And then slowly you start just developing like this healthy lifestyle. You know what I
Little
mean?
habits, and that's
Yeah,
what makes
these
a
little
difference.
habits.
Like, you know, I have some clients who understand that and they love it because they're just like, I'm not bothered about what's happening with my weight right now anymore or anything. I'm just glad that these are new changes coming into my life. It's making me sleep better. I have better energy. And that's what you want to start with because if you're always chasing a body goal, you are always going to be unhappy with your body.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If you start looking at your energy levels, you know, being able to move better, you know, having a better stamina, whatever, everything that's not related to an image, you're actually going to get the image that you want at some point.
Exactly.
Because that's not your focus. Because that's an obsession,
Yeah.
right? And then you always want more. And then, okay, now I got my butt. Oh, but I don't like this or I don't like that. You know, I got my abs, but I still have this. Forget all that. Just implement habits
That
get
are
healthier,
sustainable.
and whatever's sustainable,
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Especially because I don't know about you guys, but do you remember the first time you're like, oh my God, I should lose weight? I will never be as skinny as I was the first time. I was like, I should lose weight. Mainly because I'm no longer 16 years old. But when I look back at
When I
pictures
was
of
16,
my...
I lost
But why?
5 kilograms in a week. I used to be able to lose 5 kilograms in a week.
It was like just starvation.
I mean, to
No,
be
but
honest,
I
I
was-
used to be super skinny, And I honestly, when I look back at pictures, I never want to be that way again. I looked ill. I looked sick.
That's the thing. Is like you in the moment, you think you need to lose weight. You look back at that image maybe a couple of months, even a couple of years later, you look at yourself, you're like, oh my God, I don't even look good right now. What was I chasing after? And you realize you were chasing after an image that is not yours. It's an image that the media has literally like poisoned your brain with.
But I mean, if we're talking about body image, I think we also have to talk about skinny girls who get told that they need to gain weight as well. Because
that's cruel.
That's also a struggle. Because I know a lot of girls deal with that, where it's like, you know, they get told like, eat a burger. Oh my God, you've lost so much weight.
I still get told that you're so skinny, and I'm like, bro, this is like, I'm almost at my heaviest that I've ever been. Leave me alone. You know, I feel great.
Do you get told like, you're so skinny? Oh my God, like I want your body, or like you're so skinny?
Is it
eat a
body
burger?
shaming or body like admiration?
I don't know, but it's just like, oh, you're skinny. But like, I know before people, you know, like over here, when somebody looks at a coach, like we said earlier, they're like, they decide if I want to go to this coach or not because I'll get their body. First of all, that does not happen, right? Because like everyone's genetics are completely different. So for me, in the beginning, it was a little bit hard to get clients because I was too skinny. I didn't have a butt. You know, I had a little bit of a belly.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, they looked at me and said, oh, I don't want that body. And I'm like, all right.
It's just so crazy to me.
And I'm a butt builder. I don't have a butt, but I've built so many beautiful
I will
butts.
attest to that.
I can confirm. I look at it a lot.
I don't have a butt, and you know what? And genetics and body types makes a difference, because there's certain programs I've given to girls who have, you know, grown their butts very beautifully, thanks to me. And I've
like,
done
I will
this.
take credit for that, but
She's like, I
do.
made that
I
butt
take
famous.
credit for it. and then I do the exact same thing for myself, and it doesn't happen, right? Because it's just harder for me.
Lest we forget that a decade ago, big butts, you had to hide. You had to feel
And now it's
shame.
like everyone wants a big butt.
Now it's Zimbabwe. Oh my God, how did you get your butt like that? By eating. Anyways.
Yeah. But yeah.
wow, all of a sudden everybody wants to be quiet.
Can we touch on PCOS for a second?
Yeah. But also with social media, we did not mention all these bullshit AI accounts that are there as well. Of these
Wait,
girls.
what?
Have you never seen that?
No, I have. Oh my God. Did
I
you
was
know
looking-
Lil Michaela? I think the first one that popped up was Lil Michaela. And she is exactly what the trend on Instagram was for the era. So like racially ambiguous, but like pulls a little bit more Latina, tan, slim, thick, like, but gorgeous, non-real person.
There's so many of them.
What's the point?
And you think they're real accounts
No,
because
but they sell you stuff.
Yeah, and
They'll
if you
sell you
look
diet
at the
pills.
hashtags,
They'll sell you clothes. They'll sell you
But how do you know that they're
skincare.
not real?
Because
I look
it
at you
says-
look at the hashtag on the post, because like, okay, we don't go into
AI.
everyone's profile, right? So sometimes you might see something, and then if you look at the hashtags, you will see that it's AI. They put it there,
And it looks
Disclaimer.
real.
They look like proper chicks out on
Influencers.
holiday by the beach at home, you know, getting ready, and you
That's
just
so. How
and
is that
they're
even legal? That's so misleading, and it's so bad for little girls watching.
AI is
this.
dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
I mean, we're all gonna be out of jobs soon. I mean, I keep getting this ad saying, I fired my personal trainer because AI is, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but some people use AI to literally like find out how many macros they should be consuming a day.
But it's wrong. So I actually tested ChatGPT with this. So
Okay.
I was like, all right, since it's so smart, make me a meal plan with this amount of carbs, this amount of protein, this amount of fats. It gave me this whole meal plan. All right. And then I took it and I calculated everything, and it was incorrect.
How
Yeah.
far off was it?
It was quite far off. Like when I asked for 140 grams of protein, it was at about between 85 to 100 grams of protein. So
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean that's
So
the thing that people
ChatGPT, you're
don't-
fired.
yeah, I mean, I tried this a few times.
But you know, the whole thing with AI is that the more we use it, the more it starts learning.
Yeah.
and
That's
then
another
it's
thing,
gonna
yeah.
evolve, and then next
It's
thing
gonna
you
be
know,
smarter than us,
it's gonna-
and then it's gonna take over Sprinkles of Spice,
No, but I mean,
and then we're gonna be in the Matrix.
and then we'll all be
already
wearing
in the
VR
Matrix?
glasses.
I think we are. I think we're already in the Matrix.
I
Do you
don't get the
think
concept.
We'll do VR
but yeah.
glasses soon. like us, like our us people, not
What?
the techie
So
people.
what? We're gonna be like holograms in people's
you
living
think?
rooms. Oh my god! Imagine we
That
That'd
do
be kind of fun
That'd be
though.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
like you're sitting in your apartment in Spain, and then we're just sitting there next
Yeah.
to you, and we're like, "Welcome to another episode of
Sprinkles
Sprinkles
and
and
Spice."
That'd be
Spice."
cool, actually. Yeah.
And then we wake you up like, hey,
Wake me up. Show up in my bedroom.
get really freaky with it.
Yeah, that would
Nick
be fun.
didn't say no. She was like,
Okay, she's like,
don't think about it.
That's fun.
There are worse alarms.
I like guests. I live alone. I can get lonely.
I need to go visit. Let's go visit.
Should we? Can we invite ourselves?
Of course.
Great.
I've been telling her for ages
She invited
to
me
come.
for like
I'm
years now.
literally an hour away. If you come
Yeah,
visit me,
why don't
Zainab,
you just come? You are an hour away,
Yeah.
actually. You should
Really?
come.
Is
Yeah,
Paris an
direct
hour
flight.
away? Oh, a
yeah,
flight?
it'll be about an hour
There's
and
a
some
direct
change.
flight, I think, to Valencia.
Valencia?
as well, yeah.
I'm so down. Please do not invite me to things because
doing
I
it.
have no boundaries. I will be like, yeah, okay, I'm coming.
No, it's fine. I
You
like
should
having
come.
people.
You should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
should.
literally beg people to come see me.
Okay. Drink your water, everyone. Everyone, hydration break.
Hydration break.
Everyone make sounds.
Ew.
My cup's empty, so this is extra funny.
I can't. You know, when people chew really loud or slurp
Really?
soup or tea.
In Asia, in like Korea, when I've been to Korea so many times, and every single time I go to the restaurant, obviously, because I have to eat. It's shocking. And the people slurping,
Yeah, isn't that the way they eat?
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to slurp.
it's rude not to slurp.
It's kind of like in Kuwait when they drink the tea. They have to slurp when they drink the tea. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
that grosses you out.
grosses me out.
Grosses my mom out so much.
Chewing, like loud
No,
chewing.
mastication. I hate the sound of mastication.
And like the fork and knife on the plate.
You hate that too?
no, but okay, you know what's collectively worse than all of that is when someone is eating and sniffling at the same time. First of all, stand up, go to the bathroom, blow your nose, stop eating and sniffling because visually I'm like you're masticating and then you're mixing it in with your
Ugh.
snot.
Yeah, but what if you're eating spicy food?
No,
And then
that's a
your
different
nose
type of
gets-
sniffling though.
okay.
Because it's a different environment. I'm talking about normal food. I'm talking about you having a sandwich and you're sniffling.
How did we get to this? All right,
I have no idea.
I always let my intrusive thoughts win. Always.
We got a little peek into Mia's brain.
Interesting.
All
You
right.
must really enjoy your time alone.
Listen, I'm never bored.
She's never bored. Never. All right. So, do you want to get into strategies for maintaining a healthy body image? I think we kind of touched on them, but
I
what
think
would
we
you
should-
say are the?
We
what-
should touch on PCOS before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about PCOS?
So like, I think PCOS is only very recently has PCOS really garnered a lot of attention because I think only in the past decade have people realized like it's very prevalent. Do you have any tips at all for the PCOS girlies? Or are there any hints usually that you
Well,
see
yeah.
someone that might have it? Like what to look out for, what to do? Like what are like the very basic tips after because you can't diagnose the world that you would have?
I mean, the first one is irregular periods. Like if you have irregular periods, then you might need to get
The
checked.
thing with PCOS, though, I've heard doctors here, they've misdiagnosed a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
So, you maybe don't even have it. You just like need to eat better.
And you know what the problem is here? So I was diagnosed when I was 14. That's how old or what year was that? 2000? The year 2000?
Before the birth of Jesus.
Yeah, let's get some old jokes in,
come
Mia.
on.
Get it out of your chest.
When are you
Come on,
gonna-
let's
when are you
go.
gonna be in
I
your
haven't done
30s?
it forever.
When are you gonna be in your 30s?
In a long time, Mama. Don't worry about it.
In a long time, 2 years. Less than 2 years.
Don't worry about it.
Then you just be part of the club.
Yeah.
But
30,
I feel,
flirty, and
I feel
thriving.
best in my 30s, though.
I
No,
know.
I want to be 30, flirty, and thrive. That's gonna be, by the way, for my 30th birthday, it's going to be 30, flirty, and thriving.
I would love to be 32 forever. 32 is the best age. 32, 33, like that. Those are the best years.
God, I hope I
30s
get.
are great.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope I don't feel this way. I hope I feel like every year is like the best. I'm like, look at this is the best.
Apparently, 40s are the new 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the celebs out there? They're living their best lives.
They're the 40-year-olds.
Looks more exciting
Do
to
not
be 40
age.
than 30.
They're not aging.
Courtney looks the best she's ever looked.
Yeah.
She's the happiest she's ever been.
But anyway, so I was
20s are the worst.
diagnosed at 14. That was 2000. And the only thing that they tell you, and I mean, I don't know if this is everywhere in the world, but like back in the day, they would just try to put you on birth control. So they put me on birth control to regulate periods, but you're just addressing one symptom, which is irregular periods. You're not talking about insulin resistance. You're not talking about high cortisol levels. You're not, you know what I mean? I mean, symptoms vary depending on the person,
And
but
the type.
or the type. And I remember, so I would be on and off of birth control, until I moved to the States in 2010. And I remember I was at a Barnes and Noble and I saw a book on PCOS and I bought it. And then it just like opened my mind to like the depth of like how it affects my body. It's not just irregular periods. Like my weight was heavily affected by that. And I didn't know that. I thought it was just the way I eat, you know what I mean? And I would really like be hard on myself with what I eat and all of that. And then I realized, I was like, oh, this is why, you know, now it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And so in Kuwait, whenever I would go see a doctor, they would always try to give you a pill to regulate your period, or to have you like, they have these pills where like you take it for 5 days and then you get a period. And they don't educate you on how to maintain your symptoms. That actually exercise is like medicine for people with PCOS. Like working out is the best thing you could do if you have PCOS, like light walks. And HIIT is actually like bad for most people with PCOS because it has high cortisol. So people don't know these things. And I had to do so much research and like a lot of trial and error to understand like, you know, why my body sometimes works against me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So PCOS, some people with PCOS have insulin resistance, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, you do want to be careful with HIIT training. So this is one thing that we always work with the PCOS. We keep HIIT training at minimum.
Yeah.
If the person feels like, okay, no, I'm able to now after they've done it for a while and we've started to see changes in their body, then we can start introducing little doses of HIIT. I like to do that because I think it's really important for your heart health and just longevity, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of food, again, doctors here and maybe in most places, you know, just give pills for everything.
Yeah.
You know, there is another approach to things before you have to escalate to pills. So PCOS, you can really take care of it with your food. Most importantly, you know, try to keep your glucose levels stable throughout the day. And that is not only for people with PCOS. I recommend that for everybody.
Yeah.
Because that way you're going to not have cravings. So whether you have PCOS or not, if you maintain your glucose levels throughout the day by starting each meal with a vegetable or a salad and then having tons of protein in your day, you are going to manage, you know, keeping the glucose levels in check, not having cravings or any of that, and not escalating anything with your body.
I mean, I do notice that, like, if I think I've told you, like, if I eat one, or if I like fuck up during the day with my diet, like I'll eat one bad thing, and then I immediately like know it's gonna spike my blood sugar levels, and then I this thing comes out and I call it the snack monster, and literally I would just want to snack, and I would just crave like, you know, like sugary, like fatty foods. And I just cannot stop. Like, if I physically cannot stop myself, and I know I need to stop, and the only way I stop is when I get sick.
But what's your one bad thing? What is a bad food?
No, I don't think it's a bad food. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but maybe like making a mistake of maybe eating, starting my day with something carby rather than like a protein, or you know, not eating enough protein during the day and mostly eating like carbs or something that's like high in sugar or fat, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But honestly, if you, I don't know if you started doing this yet, because I think I did tell you, if you just start every meal, not just your first meal, with something green. So I started just have, you know, you get those ready-made salad bags.
Yeah.
I just take like a handful, literally, and I eat that before I eat my eggs in the morning.
Like with olive oil and lemon and all salt and everything.
Whatever.
So you have like a little salad.
Exactly. Or broccoli or whatever you like, you know, any vegetable. If you have that first, like if you're, let's say you're going to have a sandwich, right? An egg sandwich. It's got protein in it, but you're having carbs. So what's going to happen is that your glucose levels are going to jump up.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you have the salad first in your stomach and then you have the sandwich, it's going to go, it's going to go like this instead of like that, because carbs are sugars, right?
So for those who can't see, she said basically it's gonna go up, but a lot slower than if you would
Exactly.
just
We
have
need
the
that.
bread.
We do need a spike, not a sudden spike, but
Yeah.
we do need like our glucose level to go up a little bit sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
It's just how our bodies work. Again, I'm not a doctor. It's just a lot of research
Or
and
a messiah.
understanding. Or what?
A messiah,
No.
contrary to
Oh my God.
popular belief.
Popular belief.
Popular belief.
Who thinks that?
Girl, just promote yourself.
She's like, go with it, go with it, just go with it.
Don't question it.
Like trying to fill my ego. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna make a huge difference, and I've started doing that because I used to find myself out of boredom being in the snack closet. You know what's in there? I
Eating a
keep no
Kit Kat in the bathroom.
I
all of
don't
a
keep
sudden.
snacks.
Yeah.
but
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, so when I moved to Kuwait last year, I gained like 5-6 kilograms the first 3 months, and it was crazy.
welcome to Kuwait.
But that's because I would go to people's houses and they had all these snacks. And in France, that's not the lifestyle at all.
But you came from Europe. You
Yeah.
walk a lot.
Yeah, no,
Also.
trust. Like I realized, like my mistake here was I thought I was getting enough movement. I was not
no
like
way.
in Paris. I crushed 18,000 easy.
Yeah,
like
I
just
barely
running my errands.
hit my 10K here.
Same.
And I'm normally doing 15, 16 just
Yeah.
from living normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that plus the quality of food. Also, I'm not gonna like access to good quality food that's like untouched by chemicals. That's affordable in
Yeah.
Kuwait. It's kind of a joke.
I
Honestly.
mean, I used to constantly be bloated and I thought that I had a problem.
yeah.
And then when I moved to Spain, after the first month, the first 3 months, because I was super stressed, you know, I moved at 32. I don't have any friends or anything. So stress levels were quite high. Once I started, you know, getting comfortable and everything, I started noticing that my bloating just completely went. And
Yeah.
nothing really changed other than the quality of food. You know, I'm
Yeah.
buying food from the farmer's market.
Yeah.
It's not imported. I'm buying local products.
Yeah.
And it made a huge difference.
Yeah. So like I realized I was like, the quality of food, the lifestyle habits, and just the snacking culture. There is an insane snacking culture here, and they think it's polite to be like, "Oh my God, have food, have food." And when you
Yeah.
say no, people like shame you. So I feel like honestly, from now on, when people like are like, "Oh, are you on a diet?" Whatever, I'm like, "No," but
hate
I
that
just
term.
I don't want to eat for no reason. Like I feel like I'd rather eat when it's a mealtime, so I can actually enjoy the
Yeah.
meal. Because you would see me, like I'd snack, and then come mealtime, I'm not even that hungry, which
Yeah.
means in like a few hours I'm gonna be starving and I'm
Yeah.
gonna snack again.
I mean, yeah, when you were, the longer you stayed in Kuwait, I feel like the more you started replacing meals
with
with
snacks. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I went back last month, and I honestly feel like I haven't lost weight, but I've de-bloated and I feel good. I was like, oh my God, I feel so much happier.
But this is a more modern thing in Kuwait, because if you look at our grandparents, they didn't eat like this.
No, they
like
didn't.
my grandfather, Allah يطول بعمره, like would eat, like he wouldn't snack in between. He would just go from meal to meal, and he was always like active
Mm-hmm.
and going out and doing things. And I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, now he has like health complications due to his age, because he's in his 80s.
Inshallah.
He is someone that I always thought was like, you know, like at least for me, he was a healthy person. You know what I mean? And even like with the way he would eat, like it just shows me that, you know, we didn't have this snacking culture. Also, like the amounts of restaurants that we have now, it's like pizzas, burgers, and
Mayo
even
over
the West came in.
everything.
the West came in, but then
Yeah.
we kind of like added our twist to it, and everything is just saucy and like even
And
some
sugar.
restaurants, yeah, and
There's so much sugar.
there some restaurants you go to and you'd eat like a meal that you would think would be okay, and you'd leave like feeling like so heavy, your stomach hurts. I don't know, it's like a lot of like oils, I think, and like
The
sauces.
food here is not
and-
healthy. Going out to eat here is not healthy. Half of these meal companies as well, the food that they give you are not actually the numbers that they say that
Yeah.
they're giving
Yes.
you.
No,
you know?
we clocked that a long time
Not
ago.
just that, like I think a lot of these companies focus mostly on calories, and I've noticed this. Like when I look at the macros, I'm not meeting my protein, I'm not meeting the carbs, but I've hit my calories for the day.
Fats, high fats, they're all high fats.
It's all high
so that
fats,
it can
yeah.
keep you full.
Yeah.
Because protein, they give you all these packages, right? And all these great prices because there's so many companies now. Everyone's trying to
Yeah.
compete with each other. Selling protein, high protein, is going to be a lot more expensive for them.
Yeah,
So high fat, you're gonna stay full.
yeah.
So you hit the calories, you're going to stay full. You feel like you're eating less, but they're not
It's-
giving you enough protein because it's too expensive for them to be giving you 60 KD for a month.
Yeah.
You know, calculate that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's just the way the economy works. I feel like it's
Yeah,
called making money.
That's true, and everyone falls for it. I mean, you're better off making your own food, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's more enjoyable anyways, I feel like. Like, I enjoy going to the grocery store, shopping.
Some people
doing
don't
my
have
thing.
time though, which is understandable, but
You can just order it on your phone.
Cooking for yourself is a form of self-love.
it definitely is.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
And
too.
it's fun, kind of. At some point, you start to get experimental. You start to enjoy it.
But that's why I tell people plan your meals
Yeah.
in advance. Prep for the week. You can prep for 3 days. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any parting words? My favorite thing now is saying, do you have any parting words?
I feel like they're going to die after this.
Yeah. Is that
Totally.
it? Is that it?
Is there any last bit of advice that you want to give?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we all just overcomplicate, fat loss or health and wellness and fitness, and it's really not that complicated. I think it's pretty simple. And if I was to say, if you want to lose fat sustainably and keep it off in the long term, you just need to do a few things. Get 10K steps, which I know is really hard in Kuwait because I am struggling, but I'm trying really hard. But
Just
if
do what
you're
I do.
outside,
Pace when you're on the phone.
Pace, yeah. Pace when you're on the phone.
That's how I get my 10,000
We
in.
do a runway.
I mean, I try to park a bit further and things like that while I'm here. Make sure that you are getting enough sleep, like 8 hours of sleep, because your body needs to recover for your cortisol levels to be down as well, for your muscles to actually build. Eat enough protein. The easiest way is look at about 25 to 30 grams per meal.
Yeah.
Okay? And then what else? 10K. And do strength training.
Yep.
Strength training at least
for
3 to
sure.
4 times a week. And strength training means not just picking up the same dumbbells every single time, improving your weights every single week. So that's in order to actually build muscle. And of course, add in a little bit of cardio, especially in Kuwait. You always see these things online where people say, "Oh, you don't have to do cardio to lose fat," and I'm like,
Yeah, you
in
do.
the Middle East, you kind of do because you're not getting your
Yeah.
steps.
Yeah.
And I like to do cardio anyway for just again heart health, lung health,
Yeah.
and all of that.
And then you have people who are like, I don't want to gain muscles because I don't want to look like a man, so I don't want to do strength training. But in reality, I think nothing sculpted my body like strength training.
Yeah.
Like lifting weights. Like, yeah, my body
True,
is
I've been
more
looking at her
feminine because
butt.
I lift weights.
For the past 2 years and the past year, her butt has been giving.
Told you I build butts. Just can't build my own yet. But yeah, no, those are the main things, honestly. And if you do those things consistently, and stay
You'll
in a
see
calorie
results.
deficit. The
Yeah.
most important if you want to lose fat.
Yeah.
And that too, you can't stay in a calorie deficit forever, because your body will adapt eventually. But
Yeah.
if you do those things to begin with consistently, that's the right word.
Yep, consistently.
I don't know why that just came out. If you do that consistently, then you are going to see the results.
Yeah.
There's no doubt of it. It's
And-
not
and-
overcomplicated.
yeah.
And if you feel you're not getting results and you think you're doing all these things, go and look at what you're not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check your food. That's usually where the problem is.
Okay.
And slow progress is progress.
It's the best progress because
Yeah.
then it's sustainable.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Nick, so much for coming on today's episode and giving
for
us
having me.
all your advice and knowledge.
All of
And
it.
All of
Nothing.
it.
That's
Nothing
it.
is left
You guys
now.
know that's not true. I have a lot more to give.
She left nothing.
This is
This is
not it.
everything that she has to give you guys.
You don't have to have a personal trainer.
But if
shitty
you're
personal
looking for
trainer.
one, hit Nick up at Equilateral Training.
How do you spell equilateral?
EQUIL.
I'm dyslexic, all right? Don't have to spell on the spot.
Equilateral.
Okay, anyways, Google it.
Natural training.
Google
Tag
it.
me.
All right, you guys. So that's all the time we have for today's episode. And if you like this episode,
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. 5 stars only. Anything below 5 stars, and I'm gonna find someone that'll bench press you.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Whoop, whoop.
Bye.
Bye.